Hey, how do you create melodic lines using arpeggios? Well, you don't create melodic lines without arpeggios because we need to know where the notes of the chord are in the background, right? Because we walk from chord note to chord note. If you haven't watched any of the previous videos in this series, please go back and do so you understand what I'm talking about. So we need to be able to take a scale like the C major scale or the A minor scale, same thing. And then we need to take a chord from that scale. And then we need to be able to create a melody. Right? And if you've been trying to do this using just the C major scale, you know how hard it is because you don't know where to rest, where to begin your lines. And in this video, I'm going to give you some really cool techniques that you can use to instantly create really cool melodies. And you can use this for two purposes. You can either write melodies, compose, like write a song, like a melody, come up with a couple of chords, and then compose a cool melody, and then you can put lyrics to that, and bam, you're a composer, right? Or you can use them to improvise with, which is of course a faster discipline, but it's the same thing, basically. When you're composing, you have lots of time. When you're improvising, you're basically composing, but fast, right now, right, in this moment. But it's the same thing you do. So this is a really valuable set of tools that you can learn instantly. All you have to do is listen to what I say and then try it out a couple of times and then practice each day to create little lines. And I promise you, you'll be a melody maker in no time because these tools are so effective. So let's look into it close up right away. So we're working with an arpeggio and a scale and a chord in the background. We have the A minor scale, and I'm just going to focus on 3 strings in the 12th fret here. And the scale shapes, or the scale shape of the A minor scale looks like this in the 12th fret. You got the 12, 14 on the G string, then you got 12, 13, and 15 on the B, and 12, 13, and 15 on the high E. Right? And the arpeggio shape of the A minor chord goes 14th fret G, 13th fret B, 12th fret high E, and then you reach for the 17th fret on the high E string as well. That's your arpeggio shape. And then you got you might want to just play around with these two shapes. Right? And so let's create some melodies. Since we're using the A minor arpeggio here, we can go on our looper pedal, just an A minor in the background. And then the first concept is simply just walking from chord note to chord note, as we've been talking about. So I could pick the first chord note in the 14th fret G string and walk to the 13th fret on the B string, using the 12th fret B string as a passing note. And then I can walk from this chord note to the next, using the 15th fret B string as a passing note. And that's an actual line, right? It sounds like a melody and it fits the chord in the background. Right? 13, 15, 12 on the high E string. And I can walk from this 12th fret all the way up to the 17th fret using the scale notes as passing notes. And back again. Right? And you can start creating. Right? You can always start creating melodies that sound like the chord in the background. Next concept is going below or above each note. So if I have the note here in the 14th fret, the first arpeggio note, I can start from below and play the 12th fret and then the 14th fret to hit the arpeggio note. Go up to the 12th fret B string because that's the next note above the chord note. And I get this simple line of where this is central. And you can do a lot of things with that. You don't have to play da do da do. You can go, right? Or you can play the lowest note, the highest note, and then back to the chord note. As long as you end on that chord note, right? Next note, do the same thing with that. 13th fret B string, go from below, which is 12th fret, to the 13th. 15th fret is above, so you play that and back to the note. Or you play low, high, and then in the middle, or high, low, and then in the middle chord note. And then you can right? Same thing, high E string, there's another chord note. Go below or above. Play around with it, use rhythm phrasing. Once you've done that with all 3 notes here, then you can start really improvising because you've been practicing one note above and below at a time, improvising with just that, and then suddenly really works well. Of course, you can do it with the highest note as well. There you would reach above, one whole tone above in the 19th fret, and below in the 15th, so that creates really that really effective. Just to stop the A minor, not to get crazy here. The last little concept is the pedal tone concept, and we can use that in 2 different ways. You can just have one tone, or the pedal theme or melody. You can have one tone note here. Let's say we use the E here in the 12th fret on the high E string as a pedal tone. Then you would return to this every time you play something else. And to its, in its strictest sense, you would play this and one note, this and another note, this and another note. So you go. Sounds very classical, right? And you can totally do that. And if you mix it up quickly enough, you won't hear the pedal tone concept in there. So let's say I'm playing 3 notes with this as my pedal tone. So I go. But then I shift this to be my pedal tone. So I go. Right? And then this is my pedal tone now. And that creates some interesting ideas. And you do the same thing. You focus on this note first, then have that be your pedal tone. Play around with it, come up with a line, then focus on this as the pedal tone. And mess around with the rhythm, then this as the pedal tone. Right? Return to this every time you play, and it just makes sense. It's because you, right? And then you take the last one in this little shape here. Once you've done that, you can start mixing them up, with shorter and shorter distance in between them. So you go. Right? You pick a new pedal tone so fast that you can't hear the pedal tone concept anymore. So that's very effective. Another thing you can do with the pedal tone concept is that you can play a little melody, a very short melody. Instead of just having one note you return to a little. So you could play 12th and 13th fret and back again, and let that be your pedal tone or pedal melody. And then you can use the other concepts to create the thing in between. So I could perhaps go, this one, and then I would go below and above on the next chord note, or on that, and play around with that. So I go, above and below. Alright, so I really hope you'll use these concepts here, write them down, put them up on the wall so you know that you have them and that you can pick one and play around with. And then let's now look at the actual practice method to use when you do this exercise. So what do you do with these concepts? Well, here's the simple practice method that will teach you how to compose and how to improvise and come up with really cool lines in the moment with no preparation. You take any scale, let's say you're, well, again, focused on the A minor scale, C major scale. Same thing, and you pick a chord. You pick the A minor. So you record that with your looper pedal. And if you don't have a looper pedal, get one right now. I use the Boss Digital Delay, actually, which is not a looper, but it has that function in it, DD7. I don't know if they even make those anymore, and it has a hold function. Hold. So when I press hold, I can create a loop, and it disappears when I stop the loop, so I have to record it again. But that really suits me well because it's the simplest of loopers. So, but I have that A minor running in the background, and I want to use the A minor arpeggio. So, A minor scale, A minor arpeggio, and I use one of the concepts like the pedal tone. And then I pick that concept, and then I try to come up with a line that sounds really good using that. And I limit myself to a part of the neck, so I'm not all over the place trying to learn scale shapes and arpeggio shapes at the same time. I'm trying to learn this. So, well, that was pretty cool. I'm pretty fast at this because I've been doing it a lot, right? So I don't need any time to prepare the lines, which is what happens to you when you do this. You try to come up with something. Right? Once you get something that sounds great, you practice it 10, 15, 20 times. Right? You play it over and over again, 10, 15, 20 times until it's easy. And you focus on the phrasing of it. Really work with the... Right? Go into it. Really have fun playing it. Then you come up with something new. You scramble around. Let me see, what could use another concept. Nice. Using, phrasing, different techniques to produce the notes. Play it over and over again. Come up with a new line. Play that over and over again. And so you continue having fun. And then you can do a new arpeggio, a new scale if you want to, but limit yourself to a specific area on the fretboard so you're not all over the place. If you do this enough, you become really good at composing using these concepts here. And you become really good at improvising. Composing happens first because you do that relatively slowly and you can, take all the time you need to really come up with something that sounds cool. When you improvise, that is instant and rapid. That happens as well. That at some point you don't need to look for cool lines, they just come to you because you have been focused on these concepts and because you've been doing this exercise of coming up with a line, practicing it 10, 20 times, coming up with a new line. Gradually you become faster and faster at it, just like if you're practicing a sequence like... You also do that slowly, right? And then gradually it becomes so easy to do it because you've been doing it so many times that the brain gradually becomes faster at it. And the same thing happens here. You compose slowly, you improvise slowly, and you become faster and faster. It's like at this point, I can't come up with something that doesn't sound right. If I purposely pick the wrong notes, it sounds like I don't know what I'm doing, but really you can't not know what you're doing if you do this enough, and you will just arrive surely to the point where you can really set yourself free and have fun just playing really cool lines that sound good instantly. New program out here, the Triads program, that I really urge you to go check out. We got the whole thing lined up for you with every single detail about how to master these arpeggios and how to become really good at using them. And a lot of different really cool concepts that will act as shortcuts really to getting there faster, because that's what we want, because results are everything, right? If you don't get results, you don't want to practice. If you don't get anywhere, why would you practice? So we need to focus on getting results and getting them fast. If you do that, you'll become, I can do it. I want to practice even more and get even more results. That's just how it works. So the program is focused on really giving it to you in a way where you can understand it quickly and you can use it quickly, and you can do some exercises that will absolutely implement the theory and the knowledge into your own playing today. So go check that out. And if not, we'll also see each other in the next free video here on YouTube.